This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome. Chaos at DBL. It's my favorite type. Hello, everyone. Looking fabulous.
Hey.
Looking good. It's February.
It is.
Yes.
It's Black History Month.
It's Black History Month. By the way, you say February or February?
Nobody says February. Stop
Just me.
with this
Okay.
R.
No one.
Just one.
No one.
Got it. All right. We're going to start the conversation today with something a lot, maybe most women deal with. It's their body image. So we want to put this into perspective for you. 91% of women, I'm going to say that again, 91% of women are unhappy with their bodies. They resort to dieting to achieve an ideal body type. And that brings us to one of the big culprits for these feelings, body shaming. So actress Melanie Lynskey, who stars in the hit show Yellow Jackets, which is fantastic, by the way, is speaking out about the comments she's getting about her body. She said the most egregious are the ones that say, quote, "I care about your health," comments, adding, quote, "bleep, you don't see me on my Peloton, you don't see me running through the park with my child. Skinny does not always equal healthy." Now, Melanie's husband, Jason Ritter, son, of course, of the great John Ritter, may he rest, is defending his wife, saying, quote, "If anyone has any further unsolicited comments about anybody else's body, they can feel free to write them in permanent ink onto their own foreheads and swan dive directly into the sun." So, what is it about these?
When did he give that quote?
I think yesterday.
I saw that. I was like, that's really specific.
Like so
Outdoor music festival.
Son, he was at Coachella.
Kind of
That's
got
what
away
he-
from him at the
I
end.
felt like he was like so angry. He just started like fumbling words.
Put it on your forehead, reach into the solar plexus. All right, so what is it about these "I care about your health" comments that are particularly so bad? And is it ever okay to comment about somebody else's body, even out of concern? Out of concern, and I just want to get a feeling. Lindsay, I'm going to start with you. Let's say you're like, "I'm worried about you because you've gained blank." Is that okay?
Well, I think most people that are like morbidly obese are probably aware, and anybody in between that, between very slim, is just like knowing. I think most people have self-awareness in that way, and so they don't need you. They would go to a doctor and seek that information. And so people who come with the concern, it's kind of like when you're too big or too small being pregnant. Everyone has something to say. "Oh my God, you blew up." It's like, I talk to my doctor once a week. It's literally a requirement for me to go to the doctor that often. I do not need you to chime in and let me know how
So
you think I'm doing for the week.
if you're...
Yeah, this is just recent stuff that's like constant commentary on weight. And it's just like, it's hard enough for women to constantly be judged consistently all the time and everything that they do, from their makeup to their hair turning gray to how big they are. It's like, just let people live. I think people are aware when they need to go and do something about their weight. And a lot of times people are trying, and because they're not the ideal weight that you think in your mind they're supposed to be, then you're judging them even more and giving them a harder time than they're already having.
That's true. Erica, what about if you have actual concern? By the way, move your necklace so it's not on your mic. Okay, there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think the concern thing is just another way to be condescending.
It's just an excuse.
Like, I'm concerned about your health. You know, growing up, I never had body image issues. It was something that in my home, like, it just wasn't a thing. But when I went to school, especially in high school, I went to a predominantly white school. And I say this because when I went to a predominantly black school, we never had these conversations.
Really?
And I got to a predominantly white school, it was all about eating disorders and being very concerned, to the point where I was considered like borderline obese. I was a size 2, but I was very, like, I'm just a dense person. Like, I carry a lot of weight regardless of what size I am. And there was this whole thing where they had me go to the nurse's office every week to check in with the nurse. And to the point that my mother had to come to the school because she was concerned that I had said some things about what I was eating. And my mom was like, my daughter does not have an eating disorder. She's just like a finicky eater, you know, like she'll eat, you know, breakfast and then maybe not eat lunch and then eat dinner. Like, there's nothing wrong with her, and you're putting something in her head that isn't even there. And it was true. It wasn't there. My issue started much later in life, much later.
Al, what do you think, real quick? If you have concern, would you say something?
No, absolutely not.
Even if it's like...
because I don't think first of all, I don't know if anybody can be concerned because it's difficult to care about somebody's weight that you've never met. So it really seems like you're using that as a portal of entry to have some kind of conversation with this person. I don't even think it's always that you're being condescending. I think you're trying to say, I'm not even talking about yellow jackets, okay? I don't care if you're famous. I'm your friend. I want to talk to you about your weight and your health. And it's almost a weird way to continue like a borderline friendship with this person that you either like
I'm looking out for you,
or you're looking to gaslight, one of the two.
Yeah.
But I think it's a strange connection between the viewer and the person on the screen, because if you watch Yellow Jackets and you followed somebody's career, or you watch them every day on Daily Blast Live or Good Morning America or whatever, you feel like you know them, and you may feel like, oh, Tori looks like she's gaining a little weight over the holidays. Let me write her.
Oh, they do.
And it may come.
Oh, they do.
It may be coming from a good place.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
But it may honestly be coming from a place of, I love you every day, and I want you to continue to be here every day.
But know that that's not even good. That's not good.
Not okay.
And that brings us to another part of this conversation. Is it ever okay to tell someone else to cover up? Now, let me give a little backstory here. This is Madonna. We all know Madonna. She's very risque, who is no stranger to revealing these photos. Posted a series of pics to Instagram posing with a car recently. Some are so racy we did have to censor them for daytime television. That's very Madonna. But singer Nelly commented saying, quote, "Some things should be covered up." So is it okay to tell someone to cover up? And when are these types of comments appropriate or not, Al?
Look.
Like, was Nelly in the wrong?
I would not have tweeted that. I may have thought that, if we're going to be 100%. I don't want to see that. But you know what? Madonna's not knocking on my door saying, Al, look at this. I don't have to look at that, Erica. Right. So if that makes her feel good, and I know for a fact there are Madonna fans that do find her very sexy and sexual and progressive that do want to see that. So I'm like, have at it. But, that's not for me.
Is cover up to not good, Lindsay?
Just like when we talk about Lizzo, Kim Kardashian, all these people, me particularly, I don't want to see that much behind on any given day. However, I also choose not to follow these people or to mute them if I'm not in that mood. Like, this is an option. It's not like you have to watch them, like Al said, on anything. But I also think it's interesting that just yesterday we were talking about check on your friends and make sure people are okay. And celebrities constantly get ridiculed and attacked. And it's really some vile responses that you see on social media just constantly coming at their necks. And so I think that that's another part of it. It's like we're always shocked when somebody is depressed or has some issues going on, but there's like a mob of people criticizing every little thing they do, especially when they're on a public platform. So I think that's something to think about when we just had that other conversation yesterday.
That's such a good point, because it's still noise in our head that we hear about, and it's just there. Do you think men have the same issue as women?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Okay.
I also
not
think
as much,
that
not as much.
Nelly has a lyric that says, good gracious, butt is bodacious, right? I mean, maybe it was just hot in her.
It was hot in her. Hot in her.
Also, how did Nelly get on? I'm just like, why are you following her if you feel like this is, she does this all the time.
I know. And I have to say, for someone to deal with body image, Madonna, for instance, was a pioneer in breaking down the idea that I don't give a blank about what you think. This is my body and I'm proud of it. So I will always like that Madonna pushes the limit, because we need artists to provoke and move the spectrum forward.
Then you got that from those photos?
Well, there's a range of 63-year-old women. You can be in a knitted cable sweater, or you can be in
fishnets
outfit, right?
I love it all, because I might rock it all.
I think you will.
I will.
And you will kill it. All right, coming up on DBL, today marks the beginnings of Black History Month, and as we honor the sacrifices made that have helped shape the nation. And COVID cases are falling, so does that mean we could take off these masks? Don't worry, we got the doc, not Dr. Jackson, it's Dr. Coley.
And Dr. Jackson.
Nope, with a real license, she weighs in.
2 people.
Not at all, 1.
Closed captioning provided by
Someone says not the same for men. I don't mean to be rude, though. It is, men do have this, and I don't mean to cut them off in that way.
Oh, good.
But I just meant that women, I think, societally have been dealing with this for far more.
Thank you, Ira.
And more intensely and acutely than men. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Sweet docs.
Wait a minute. Did you not just hear the?
Oh, she stays rocking the docs.
Yeah, she's.
I don't even have to look.
Nice shoes. Yeah, you gotta get a shot.
Alrighty.
I got some docs on that are like from
So
the
first
actual
let's
era.
First, let's go to.
These are super
How old are those?
Very.
How old?
I don't know.
Say it.
I don't know.
Like 20 or 30?
20.
Okay.
30.
And now let's see Sierra's docs. Those are red.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, where'd you get these?
Online. I don't know.
That is very vague.
Search them.
She just had to do
That's
that.
really vague. Like,
Why are you holding the camera? That's you.
I like doing this. Hi, Sierra.
Give it back to Sierra.
Like you brought us.
I hold it like that.
Guys, so you guys know I'm the youngest to Colorado of the hosts, I think. I just moved here last, and I've been embracing it, really doing like winter activities.
You did go tubing, didn't
I went snow tubing
Yeah.
for Colorado Adventures
With your
in Winter
mom?
Park. I did that twice now. I did it at the
Oh,
Gaylord,
okay.
and then I went snowshoeing in Winter Park, where you actually like hike through the sunset.
Why would you do that?
It was a little crazy. So, is there other activities if I can't snow tube?
Yeah, snowshoes sounds
Do you hate yourself?
Snowshoeing
Why would you put on
is,
tennis rackets
is like
and
one of
walking
the
through the
most
snow?
anticlimactic things. I remember the first time
It was
someone
a
got
beautiful
me
sunset.
But you're
to
like,
snowshoe, I was like standing on a hill and they're like, okay, now walk. And I was like, but then what do I do? And they're like, you just keep
Just walk.
walking.
But you see the
It's
beautiful
like
stars.
cross-country skiing. It's like,
oh God, anything cross country, I'm
Why
like,
are you
I'll
guys
see you
out
across.
in the elements? I do not
I'm
get
not.
outside.
You gotta go
Colorado,
snowboarding.
you have to.
Let's
No,
get
you
Lindsay
don't.
on a snowboard.
You stay in
That's
your
my next
car.
activity. I'm getting on a snowboard.
Welcome back to DBL. So we just talked about body image and weight, and Dr. Coley joins us live to discuss weight. And to be super honest with you guys, I've actually just talked to her as my friend. She's really open, and we're so grateful you're here and giving us your expertise on this. So Doc, at what point does your weight actually affect your health?
Tori, I'm so glad you asked me, and I'm so glad we're having this honest conversation because I want to be clear about something. Excess body weight is a serious medical condition. And I'm going to say that again, just because I want to be sure everybody gets it. Having too much weight on you is a serious medical condition. It is not a reflection of how you look. It is a reflection of your health. It is not a judgment on who you are or how your body is, because excess weight we know is associated with a higher risk of diabetes, higher risk of sleep apnea, more heart disease, more strokes, more high blood pressure, more high cholesterol. There's a whole host of problems that come with having excess weight. And I really want us to get to the point where we stop associating somebody making a comment about you needing to lose weight, especially if it's your doctor, with a reflection of your body image, because it's like saying you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure. You wouldn't take that personally, would you?
No, that's true.
Dr. Coley, I want to follow up on that because some of us, as I mentioned earlier, just carry more weight. I've always carried more weight, even when I was, very small, since I was, a kid. So how is that reflection? Because I remember being like literally a 0 to a 2, and they kept telling me that I was like borderline obese.
so awful.
And I could not understand that. And it became a pretty serious issue for me, just like at school.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Erica, because having a healthy body weight does not mean the same thing for every single person. In fact, it's entirely different for every person. And in medicine, we tend to be lumpers, not splitters. So we use this body mass index, this number 20 to 25, which is your weight over your height, as a way to know who's obese or who isn't. But that's not a very good metric.
Right.
Because some people have bigger body frames, some people have more muscle mass, some people have smaller body frames, and they might be called underweight when they're actually a good weight for them. So I think the biggest thing is to know what your set point is, which is a discussion you need to have with your doctor, and then decide what a healthy weight is for you. And it doesn't have to be a number, but it has to be healthy lifestyle habits, which means portion control, being active, eating the right kinds of things. And if you're doing that, you can be beautiful and healthy at any weight.
Absolutely. What a great conversation, guys. I appreciate you guys having that. But Doc, we got to switch gears because we're not letting you get out of here without talking about some COVID.
Great job, Al.
Yes, of course.
All right. So, Doc, obviously people are hearing some good news that COVID cases seem to be falling. So I'm going to speak for the collective. Can we stop wearing masks yet? Is it time?
Oh, Dr. Jackson, I don't think it's the right time, because it's sort of like saying the cancer is almost gone. Let me stop the chemotherapy. Or we're winning this battle with our soldiers. Let's go ahead and retreat, even though we haven't won yet. So I think it's a little premature. And what we want to see, Al, before we can really stop those masks, is that positivity number be below 5%. So very few new cases. We want to see it maintain at below 5% for at least 2 weeks. And we want to make sure there's no new variants. So in my opinion, we're only a couple of weeks away from that. And I am very nervous. Like here in Denver, we're lifting the mask mandate. I think it's coming a little bit too early, and we're challenging the virus.
So, Dr. Coley, a lot of people don't know this, but the pandemic has taken a toll on Americans' hearts, even those who have not had COVID. So, according to a Cleveland Clinic study, 41% say they've experienced at least one cardiac-related issue since March 2020. So, Dr. Coley, what kind of heart issues are people dealing with right now?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me, because this is Heart Health Month, and we really need to be talking about heart disease, which is the #1 killer. So, of course, there's direct issues. COVID can affect the heart. But, Lindsay, so many people have missed so many important things that can prevent heart problems, like their blood pressure management, their diabetes management, their cholesterol management. And a lot of people have been sedentary, have been using more alcohol. So we're seeing just a lot more people coming in with poorly controlled chronic problems, or with new heart problems, such as developing, arrhythmia in response to drinking too much alcohol, maybe smoking a little too much marijuana, doing a lot of the things that they shouldn't have been doing for the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's interesting how sedentary we've been. Like, my back started to hurt. I turned 40, but I'm sitting too much.
I know you
don't
turned
stop
40.
with the I just turned 40.
Just turned 40.
Some
Thank
of
you,
us are
doctor.
creeping up on 41, and we are concerned for you.
Valentine's Day, baby. That's true. Thank you, doctor, so much. We love your heart. If you do have a question you want answered by Dr. Coley, go ahead and write us on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. Good way to mask that question.
Oh, man.
We'll be right back.
When it comes to viral claims online, Verify hits the pause button and digs deeper to find out what's real and what's not. Right now, Twitter is flooded with people talking about the IRS's plan to require face scans this year. So let's verify. Will you need to do a facial scan to file your taxes this year? Here are sources: the IRS and Blake Hall, CEO of ID.me. That's the company the IRS hired to run its sign-in and verification process. They're based in McLean, Virginia, and provide the same service for the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Social Security Administration, and 27 state unemployment agencies, including Virginia. Both confirm that you do not need to create an ID.me account to file your taxes, pay your balance, or to get your tax refund.
That's complete misinformation. We are a secure way to verify who you are so that you can get access to digital services.
According to the IRS, that's things like checking if you're eligible and enrolled for the Advanced Child Tax Credit, or getting copies of past tax returns, or setting up an identity protection PIN that prevents others from filing a tax return for you. Those will all require you to set up an ID.me account and, yes, take a selfie video. It's similar to Face ID on Apple.
It's that selfie step that, even if they have all that information and they could commit identity theft, the reality is they have to put their face in front of a camera, and criminals do not want to do that. They will go attack, some other programs.
So here's how it works. You create an account by providing your email address, social security number, a photo ID, and the selfie video. You'll also have to set up a multi-factor authentication. The selfie video helps them make sure that you're really you when you set up your account. And those one-time codes sent through multi-factor authentication help verify it's you every time you sign in. So we could verify that no, you will not need to take a selfie to file your taxes this year, but you will if you want to access certain features. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
DBL is sharing milestones in Black history. Black people continued to face acts of hate and discrimination well after the Civil War. And the Civil Rights Movement is why we have equal rights laws in America. It all started with Rosa Parks just 66 years ago, when she was arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white man on a crowded bus.
We'll be, welcome back to DBL. We will be sharing more milestones like that all throughout Black History Month. And if you didn't know, here's a little background. In 1915, prominent black leaders celebrated the 50th anniversary of the 13th Amendment by launching a scientific study of black life to combat misinformation about the achievements of blacks in America. This led to Negro History Week during the month of February. Honoring Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, who were both born this month, that week eventually turned into a month-long celebration. So let's talk about why Black history is so important today. And I gotta say, this is relevant because of CRT in the news and all of that in the news. Why is this so vastly important to teach that? Lindsay.
I think it's important because we need to see who opened the doors before us as we continue to like break those glass ceilings and move up. And I like to talk about the positive, especially in this month and today. It's like we have so much going on. Black women are the #1 new entrepreneurs in the country. I think that's a huge deal. And just people that are continuing to break barriers. Even with the Super Bowl, we talked about it in the the MLK Day show, being majority black performers. We haven't seen that. We've basically been banned since Janet Jackson performed, which we just talked about yesterday. So I think there's a lot of moments that we can be proud of as black people in this country coming up right now where we can celebrate and not just be talking about all the sadness, but talk about the growth and the beauty that has come in this month. And I don't want it to just be this month. Like, there are achievements and good things happening all year round. We highlight some of these people on our show. I know we had the Black Fairy Godmother. We interviewed her last year, and she's just a good person doing great things in her community, and that's happening every single day. And so that's people that I try to shine light on and give them a microphone when I can with my own social platforms. And I think it's important for us to do that all around, all together. Just look for people that are doing things, because there are out there. There are a lot of them, actually, and we should highlight them and give them a platform to speak.
Beautiful. Lindsay, sorry, Erica, what do you think?
Well, you know, I think I love Lindsay's take, and she's always said this very consistently. This is about what is happening in the future, what is happening right now, and highlighting what's positive. But it is very important to talk about history, obviously, to contextualize what is happening present day. The idea that if we do not learn our history, we are doomed to repeat it. And when I say that, I want to be very, very clear, especially for people who get all up in arms about the idea of critical race theory. That repetition could happen in an insurmountable amount of ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that the oppressed group will continue to be the oppressed group. So I think when we talk about the idea of history not repeating itself, it's the idea that we can actually thrive together. You know, we can acknowledge each other's accomplishments together without taking anything. This is so crazy, y'all. One person can win, and then like another person could win too.
Stop it.
That is like, I know.
Mind blown.
That's been your Black history.
I mean, really quickly, you guys know I'm a sucker for timelines, and I think it's so important when we do talk about Black history to understand how recent a lot of things were, like almost within our lifetime, and a lot of times they were. I mean, within my lifetime, I remember watching television and then playing around with the idea of a black quarterback starting in the Super Bowl with Doug Williams, and now that would seem ludicrous. It's within our lifetime. So all these little things that seem like they were forever ago because they were in black and white, and don't forget that a lot of that footage is in black and white to make people think that it was that long ago, when really it wasn't. There's a lot of color footage of MLK. Just to understand that all these things were recent, and you can look at it like, wow, that was really terrible that happened so recently, but also you can see the positive and be like, look how far we've come in such a short amount of time. So there's a lot to see there, and if you cannot get the perspective of America without understanding Black history.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Poshmark.
Child tax credit was created in the 90s as a way to give a little extra cash to help people raise their kids. The way it normally works, when parents or guardians file tax returns, the child tax credit gives them an extra $2,000 per child. That money can either go toward their total owed taxes or toward an increase in their refund. But in 2021, it worked a bit differently. The stimulus package that passed last March, the American Rescue Plan, created something called the advanced child tax credit. It meant that lots of families started getting monthly direct payments instead of having to wait to collect a lump sum at tax time. And the total credit increased by $1,000 or more per kid. So, with tax time just around the corner, people are wondering, if I got those advanced child tax credit payments, do I need to claim the credit on my 2021 return? To answer this question, we dug into guidance from the IRS and talked with a tax expert from Jackson Hewitt. Here's how the monthly payments worked. The IRS looked at each taxpayer's info and estimated how much total credit you should get in 2021 based on how many kids you have. Then they split that amount up into monthly checks. But those payments didn't start until July, meaning you only got 6 checks last year, or half of the total amount you're owed. The other half, that will come in the form of a traditional credit when you file your 2021 tax return.
They will not automatically give you the other half of the money unless you put the dependents, fill out the form on your tax return or the tax return that you file electronically, and request the balance of that money.
So we can verify, yes, even if you got advance payments in 2021, you need to claim the child tax credit on your 2021 return in order to get all the money you're owed. And if you're wondering exactly how much that is, the IRS sent out letters with that info. Hang on to yours to make filing your return easier. Now, because Congress didn't extend these advance payments, there will be no monthly checks in 2022, and next year, the process for getting the child tax credit will go back to normal. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
A record amount of merchandise was returned in 2021, but there's a darker side you may not know about. Let's connect the dots. Experts say online purchases are 3 times more likely to be returned than items bought in a store. Amazon third-party sellers told CNBC they end up throwing away about 1/3 of returned items. The CEO of a return solution provider says from all those returns, there's nearly 6 billion pounds of landfill waste generated every year. That's equal to the amount of waste produced by 3.3 million Americans every year. Retailers have also been known to burn unused or returned products as a means of disposal, or in some cases, to protect their brand. In response to growing criticism, Amazon says it's working toward a goal of zero product disposal, creating new programs to give sellers the option to resell returns or auction them off. It also has programs to recycle returned goods or donate them to nonprofits. Amazon says more than 67 million items have been donated so far. And that is Connecting the Dots.
So much is happening this week on DBL. You're not going to want to miss a day. Queer Eye's Jonathan Van Ness dishes on the Fab Five. The legendary Vivica A. Fox joins us live. Jeopardy's Mayim Bialik stops by. Plus, sex therapist Dr. Tammy Nelson shares why monogamy is dead. This week is Can't Miss TV, only on DBL. It sure is. So February is American Heart Month, so we're taking a look at ways we can reduce our risk of heart disease. That's today's Focus on Fitness presented by QB. When most people think about heart-healthy exercises, they think cardio. But the American Heart Association also recommends strength training. Studies show that weightlifting can actually reduce your risk of heart attack and stroke. QB is a great way to get some quick exercise. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more. I don't like cardio at all, but I do like weights lately.
You're gonna be like walking around like that soon.
Hey, guys, I would love that.
And before we go, we want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. You're the tiger.